We left off with Gabrielle Chanel getting cozy with the Nazis. And if your mind is blown by that sentence, if you missed the other parts in this series, they are linked in the caption. So what happened next? Documents declassified as recently as 2014 suggest that she could have actually been on assignment for the Nazis. She had an agent number, though that's not definitive proof that she was actually a Nazi agent. The Nazis sometimes also assign these numbers to people without their knowledge. But under the direction of this guy right here, General Walter Schellenberg, he was the chief of the German intelligence agency, and Chanel was involved in Operation Model Hat. The goal of this mission was to get a message to Winston Churchill from Hitler, basically promising a German surrender if the war started to go towards the Allies. To do this, she traveled to Spain to meet with Churchill's friend, the British ambassador to Spain, the Viscount Templewood. In light of this information, how did she manage not to get prosecuted for war crimes as General Walter Schellenberg did? Couple of things. First off, Chanel's own account was that she was coerced into working for the Nazis because her nephew was kidnapped, and the Nazis forced her to do this to get his release. This did happen, and he was released. Second, while there's a record that she did travel to Spain for this meeting, no documentary evidence about what happened or what passed between Chanel and the British ambassador. Last, it's speculated from comments that Chanel herself made that Churchill himself may have had a hand in getting the charges against her dropped. You're like, why Churchill? Remember her days hanging out with British aristocrats. The Prince of Wales was super into her, and she had a relationship with the Duke of Westminster, Churchill's friends. This is why the Nazis wanted her on their side. Anyway, once the writing was on the wall, to save face from the angry mobs, when France was liberated, she posted a sign in her window that American GIs could get a free bottle of Chanel No. 5. Which led to long lines because all these young soldiers wanted to secure a bottle of the prized French fragrance for the women in their lives back home. Even before the end of the war, Chanel No. 5's revenue had skyrocketed, even though they didn't do that much print advertising in the 1940s. Part of this was from a strategic decision to sell the perfume at military post exchanges. Now, if you remember from part 2, the Jewish brothers, the Wertheimers, were in control of Parfums Chanel. Chanel herself was no longer at the helm of Chanel No. 5. The Wertheimers had fled the Nazis and landed in New York. And they knew about her wartime activities, but decided to keep it mum. They were afraid that if word got out that Chanel colluded with the Nazis, their business would take a hit and Chanel No. 5's name would be tarnished. In 1947, after 17 years, she finally got what she wanted and they renegotiated the contract. She was given a cut of the wartime profits and henceforth would get 2% of all global sales of Chanel No. 5, with annual payouts of $25 million, making her one of the richest women in the world. Stay tuned for part 4, where we'll talk Marilyn Monroe and more.